Okay, in this lesson we're going to look more at Vlookup, but this time we're going to look at Vlookup when you have a table with multiple columns. So to do that, we're going to have to formulate a new, well, we actually have to formulate a table with more complex stuff. And the example I'm going to give you, we're going to first create a new sheet, and we're going to call this sheet, we're going to rename it. I'm going to call it inventory, T-O-R-Y, inventory lookup. Now, this is much closer to a very classic use of a spreadsheet. Often in businesses, they will have some sort of inventory database, which is what we're going to create in the lower half of this page here. Okay? This inventory database is going to be structured in a very specific way. It's going to have as its leftmost column the part number, or inventory number, or SKU, or UPC code, whatever it is, some sort of unique number to identify each item in their inventory. Next, it's going to have the name of the item. Then it's going to have column for the number you have in stock, the cost to the company, and the price per piece that we charge. So, for instance, part number 1001, we're going to make that a widget. Okay, let's say we have 22 widgets on hand. Widgets cost the company 30 cents a piece, and I want to make that into money, so I'm going to click that and choose the currency sign there. So there we go, 30 cents a piece, and we're also going to do the same thing for the price. Let's make that currency as well. And we want our price, let's say we sell that for $1.79 each. Oops, I didn't take the currency setting. Let me do that again. Okay, now the next item, and we just got to make up stuff here. So we're going to do part number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to call that a thingamabob. Thingamabobs, we have 15 of them in stock. They cost us, I don't know, 98 cents a piece. Oh, again, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just highlight this whole range here and make that be currency, so as I'm typing it doesn't give me a mess. And let's say we charge $2.99 a piece for those. Next, let's make up one. And you'll notice I'm already sorting this. You could sort it later if you wanted to. Model number 39000, let's say. That is a knob of some kind. We have 4 of them in stock. They cost us $2.38 a piece, and we charge $5.99 for them. Next, part number 5555, like that, 55s. This is a whatchamacallit. The whatchamacallits, we have 3 on hand. They're a mere 13 cents a piece, and we charge $14.95 for them. A huge markup on the whatchamacallits. I'm going to make this column a little larger. All right, so there's our inventory database. Now what we want to do is an inventory lookup. And so let's go look up part number. So this will be a place where we'll type in a part number, like we might type in 1001. Because that is a parameter that the person is going to be typing on the page, I'm going to make it red. And then what we want it to do, I'm actually going to skip this first column. I'll come back to it because there's something clever going to happen there. We want it to give us the name of the part. And actually, let me just do this. I want the same columns. So I'm going to copy that and then come up here and paste that. So it's a duplicate of it. So we want the same things to come up. Well, this is clearly a VLOOKUP situation. We're going to make it VLOOKUP. We're going to look for that number from this table. I'm going to make the table a little longer in case later I want to look something up. And let's see, the name is in column 2. So we put a 2 there. I have sorted it. We're going to assume it's sorted, so I'm not going to worry about the is sorted thing. I'm going to close the parentheses and hit enter. And so you can see it finds the widget. Now, what I'd like to do is be able to drag this sideways. So I'm going to need to go into here and put F4 on my, because I'm always going to look there for my part number. And then my table, it's always going to be the same table, so I'm going to put $ signs in there as well. So now I hit enter. So there's the widget. Interestingly enough, though, when I drag it across, it's still going to say widget, 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 widget. And the reason is that this last value, this 2, for some reason spreadsheets haven't been configured with Vlookup to figure out when you drag sideways, it should increment that value. So when I drag it across, it's still looking in column 2, and this is still looking in column 2, and this is still looking in column 2. What we actually want here, let me hit escape there, is we actually want this one to not give us the second column value, the name, we want it to give us the third column. And you can see that gives us that problem. We want this one to give us the fourth column, like that. And we want this one to give us the fifth column. And so that's all there is to it when you want to do a VLOOKUP with different columns returning. You do the same basic thing. You look for your search term in the first column. Ideally, it's sorted by that. And then you tell it, you choose the whole table. Notice here I did not just choose the 2 first columns. Even though I knew that was all I was going to look up, here I chose the entire table because, you know, why not? And I can always tell it later what column I want it to come from when I type it in over here at the end of the formula. So if you're, doing your range, your table, just go ahead and put in the whole table, and then just put in the column you want for the particular cell you're working at. And then you can drag it around and reuse it. So big advantage to doing it that way. Now, you might say, well, what happens if I type in 10002? And if you remember, the way it works is with a sorted table, it doesn't look for an exact match. It looks for the closest match without going over. Well, 1002 it's going to start looking for 1002. So it's going to bypass widget, and it's going to go straight to, oh wait, what did it do here? Huh, I thought for sure it was going to go to thingamabob. Oh, well, anyway, let's do this. Let's put in 23455, 23455. It will not give me thingamabob. It's going to stick with widget because 23455 is less than 23456, so it's going to default to the one just above it. That's what I was trying to say. I apologize about the 1002 thing. If I put in 0, oops, escape. If I search for part number 0, it's not going to give me a response because widget is greater than 0. In fact, you can even put part number 10,000, and it's still going to give me NA because it takes this number and looks for the nearest one that does not exceed this number. Well, 10,001 exceeds 10,000, so that's why it gives me a NA, did not find, basically, is what it's saying. So that's the error we're getting there. Now, you might wonder, 23455, I'm getting the widget still. So what's confusing about this, if you were using this, is you might think the part number for a widget is 23455. I'd really like for it to give me the nearest match. What number is it finding to return widget? And believe it or not, this is actually quite simple. We're going to use the same thing, but this time return column 1. The column it's looking in is the one that you're going to ask it to display what is it finding that nearest matches this. So by setting it up like this, I can type in 5555, oops, doesn't want to do more 5s. Oh, I'm touch screen, sorry. 55555, oh, I'm going to go 4. Okay? When I put that in, it's going to return knob, which is not 55554. It's 3900. So it takes this number, tries to find the biggest one that doesn't exceed the search term. That's going to be this one. And then it tells me what was that nearest match. And so all we had to do was just ask for what's in the first column rather than the second, third, fourth, or fifth. So you can find when you're using a sorted table and it's finding the nearest match, you can actually ask it to display what is that nearest match you're finding. And it can prevent people from misinterpreting what they're getting from a search like that. So that's pretty slick. I'm going to show you one more quick thing. I know it's a 10-minute video. I'm actually going to insert a new row above here. And I'm going to type in the numbers 1, 2, 3. And as you know, you can select a couple of those, and when you drag it across, it figures out what you're doing. And then I'm going to change this formula to be to look there to find the column number that I want. And if I do that, that actually is a slick way where you can get a multiple columns selected. I really only have to write this once and just be sure that I put the selected column numbers above. So if I wanted to change on hand to be here, oops, what happened to my caps lock? On hand to be here and name to be here, all I really have to do is say on hand is in column 3 and name is in column 4. Column 2. And you can see it. So it can change what you're displaying based on the number that you have above there. So 4 is actually in column 3 and the word knob is in column 2. So that's an advantage of writing your VLOOKUP where this last value refers to a cell, and then when you can change the value in that cell, it can change what it is, which column you are displaying in your VLOOKUP. So kind of a neat trick. You might anticipate that there's yet another trick you could do with that where you have a different lookup table that has these guys with the numbers on top, and you could actually add that into this so that just changing this number up here changes what it says here and what's below it. But I'll leave that as an exploration for the viewer if you wish to do that. On the next video, we'll move on to some text manipulation stuff, which is kind of cool.